Right now, it's not much of a risk because there isn't much censorship happening, or Bitcoin isn't that centralized.
Yeah.
But it could theoretically get to a point where, because right now the centralization risk in Bitcoin is primarily with mining pools. And so mining pools, what they do is they aggregate, people hear about these computers doing these math problems to mine Bitcoin. They aggregate all of these computers together under a centralized pool, and those have gotten quite big, to the point where we're at risk of censorship. One of the bigger pools censoring people, and so that could run away potentially.
So if a bigger pool censors you, how do you stop that?
Well, right now there's some. You can get smaller pools to potentially mine your transaction. It might just take longer for your transaction to go through, but you can imagine where it gets to the point where the mining pools are so centralized and so big that
they won't mine. They'll only mine a transaction that's KYC'd or something.
Yeah. If Bitcoin is centralized, it faces all the same problems that you would have using Visa. Bitcoin is not centralized right now.
But it's not the mining. But okay, so it's the node operators that approve the transaction. So if people just all run their own nodes, how's that?
Well, no, because the miners make the blocks.
Okay.
The people who run nodes, they
validate.
They relay the transactions. They validate. But if it doesn't get, like, if you're buying a coffee,
yeah,
and the network is centralized and let's say it's operated by Visa and they don't like Alex Stringer.
Yeah.
You might be able to get the transaction in the merchant's mempool on their node, such that they see it and it's a valid transaction, but it never gets mined into a block because Visa's like, no, I will not put this transaction in a block. So that's the risk of mining getting centralized.